So this is the next episode, I guess, in the reactgate saga, in which there is a YouTube React streamer called Denims. Now she was part of the MasterChef meta, so she really has been kind of called out by this whole kind of reactgate discussion of recent days, of recent weeks. And she actually went on and debated Jay Exci on Chad Logic's channel, and didn't really disagree with a lot of the prescriptions that Jay had made about reaction content, and they didn't disagree about much in the debate. She seemed kind of like tepid in her rebuttals to Jay's criticism, and she has released a video called "The React Problem" about the whole thing that's happened so far and the criticisms that have been made. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've not seen the whole thing. So obviously with Chud, when I was watching Chud when he was going over the start of it, but then I realized that obviously there's something I'd want to go over, so I've not seen the second half of this video. So the second half is going to be my actual genuine response, but the other half is just going to be me making comments on bits that I have already seen. So yeah, I think let's crack and go ahead and see what Denims has to say, what she has to say for herself with regards to the whole reactgate issue.
Spent 20 minutes recording this. Spent 20 minutes recording this, and I forgot to press record, so I just gonna die. Hi, unfortunately, I am back at it again, and I think for future purposes, my YouTube is just going to be taking the format of talking about things that I really don't like and why I don't like them. I want to talk about this person here, Jay Exci, and their most recent video about Hassan and React content. Now, I want to talk about the things that I liked, I want to talk about the things that I really didn't like, and I want to talk about these concepts that I haven't really seen addressed anywhere else. Specifically, the value of a live chat and streamers as being content curators of sorts. First, okay, wow.
Well, I know that argument's going to be garbage already, because, you know, if you want to create content as a streamer, then just post links to your Twitter. Like, surely that's the best thing that you can do if you want to create content for someone without stealing from them. Just post the link. Like, but anyway, I digress. We'll see what she says later.
Neck just fucking cracked from doing that. I want to say that this video was incredibly frustrating to watch. It was so frustrating, I spent 4 hours reacting to it on stream. Wow. God damn, that took forever. Oh my god. That literally took the whole stream. Dude, I low-key want to...
Well, at least it took her long enough that she could spend as much time as she needed to actually create something transformative. If it's turned a 15-minute video into 4 hours of content, then you clearly she has at least transformed it in some description.
Make a video on this. It could have been a really, really good video, but instead it was just... Arrgh. I literally went to cut my hair and just came back. This video took so long. Edged for 30 minutes, come for 10. Originally, I had literally no intention to make this video. I watched the first 30 minutes and essentially wrote it off as just bad content. But then, to my detriment, Jay started making really good points in the final 15 minutes of the video. Part 1, the lore. So where do I even begin where this video is about? There is a stream.
I mean, Jay made good points throughout the video. So don't know what you're chatting about here, Denims, but proceed.
Small guy, you probably haven't heard of him, called Hassan Piker, also known as Hassan Abi. If you somehow live under a rock and you don't know anything about Hassan and just randomly click this video, he's a content creator on Twitch who watches political content, non-political content, and occasionally watches MasterChef. So, our main boy, Hassan, he upset someone known as Jay Exci. How did this happen? Everyone knows Hassan has never made any controversial opinions ever.
So, you said America deserved 9/11.
I've had sex
Yeah. Sorry.
with not even escorts, but also like straight. I've gone to a brothel. I don't hide it. I don't give a shit. That's not what I said, you dumb bitch. What the fuck is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave fucking soldier, fucked his eye hole?
Quote, "The only reason my house is expensive is because of the area I live in," he growled. "Are you guys really that stupid?"
I'm not a weeb, and here's the big difference. Yes, I do have a samurai sword, but that doesn't change anything.
Well, it would appear that he tends to watch YouTube content while sometimes walking away from his computer to go eat, to make food, or to go to the bathroom. And our friend here, Jay Exci, was the victim of a chair stream. The original video in question isn't really that important. It's a video where Jay talks about this really weird house.
I don't know why people use this show microphone so often. I know I can't talk because I'm using a pretty garbage microphone myself, but people use this particular microphone incredibly often, and you just get purr all the way through each time people are talking. I don't know why it's been so popular when there are plenty of better microphones. Again, I've cheaped out on mine, but this is an expensive microphone.
Now, I didn't follow all the details at the time that this was happening. However, it would appear that Jay made some public statements criticizing Hassan's behavior, and then Hassan proceeded to state this.
If a content creator makes a fucking YouTube video and they're not happy with me, like,
6 months, Chad.
watching, then I fucking won't watch it. Personally, I don't care. But if other YouTubers do care, then, dude, absolutely. I just won't watch it.
So cool, everything got fixed, right? Wrong. Despite all of this, Jay still wanted to make one more video about this.
I mean, again, like, you've not because Hassan hasn't addressed the central criticism of Jay Exci's video. You, by then using that as a proxy, are also not addressing the central criticism of Jay Exci's video, when it was incredibly clear in Jay's video that they didn't mind Hassan watching the content as long as they A, gave proper credit, B, actually added something transformative, and C, hadn't have just walked away, right? Simple as that. That's the thing. And that's fine. Like, again, Hassan did, and Jay also made the prescription. If they were going to use it as filler content, as long as they used it for permission, that was fine. None of these things have been addressed by Hassan. None of these things have been addressed by you, by saying, in the part of which you've gone to say, oh well, hang on, even though Hassan responded, Jay wanted to make another video. But then the reason why that other video had to be made was because Hassan hadn't responded to the central critique of what Jay had said originally. So you're skipping a lot of law here, and you're skipping a lot of law that makes Hassan look worse, and makes that would otherwise have made Hassan look worse and Jay look better. But you've deigned not to include that in your law segment of your video here, Denim. So it's not exactly the best look.
State of React content on Twitch. So just a quick little summary. 1. Jay makes a video about a weird house. 2. Hassan reacts to this but walks away for a quarter of the stream. 3. Jay criticizes Hassan. 4. Hassan says he won't watch Jay's content anymore.
But also that's not a response to the claim. Because again, literally says in the original comment, Jay literally says in their original comment on that stream that they did, that says, I do not mind if you react to my videos on stream as long as you don't walk away from the chair and actually create something transformative. Or something, some words akin to that, right? But the very start says, I do not mind if you react to my content on stream.
5. Jay makes the video that we are currently reacting and criticizing to. So, let's get into the video in question. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. What I hated about this video. I truly do wish.
The fact that it called you out, the fact that you're like the lowest, attention span reactor on the platform. I kid. You're not the lowest attention span reactor on the platform. That is a throne that is reserved only for XQC. Only XQC is the person who doesn't react at all. And Denims has a checkered past with that, but sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. With regards to the amount of effort that she puts into reacting to content and how transformative it is. Again, I've not watched every single stream, so I couldn't give you a proper response to that. I was just being a little bit cheeky there. But it does look a little bit sussy when you feel this called out, were it not something that you felt personally aggrieved by, were it not something that you do. Because I've seen plenty of Denim streams where he doesn't do much reacting or watching lots and lots of MasterChef. But again, I digress. This isn't supposed to be me attacking Denims for her character. It's supposed to be a response to the video.
That the title of this part was hyperbolic, but unfortunately, it's not. Really quick though, I do want to say that while I didn't like the video, I don't want any harassment towards Jay at all, so please be cool, don't do that. Thank you. Okay, cool. So why did I hate the majority of this video? 2 primary reasons. A, the content looked incredibly spite-driven with terrible optics. B, the content was repetitive, long, boring, and took way too long to get to the point. Section A, why Jay's video seems spiteful, even if it wasn't. Up until the final section of the video, the majority of...
There was quite a lot of content in the video, but A, I watched it at 2 times speed anyway, so it didn't really take that long as far as I was concerned. And to be fair, I think the fact that the first kind of portion of the video was specifically talking about people doing uploads onto YouTube, where essentially the reaction is just how much somebody laughs, and the other part is about Twitch streamers who don't actually watch the video or don't actually stay on screen and just use it as filler content, right? So there's 2 kind of parts of the video which needed some explanation. I guess it was pretty verbose and there was more than there needed to be, but I don't think it was boring. I didn't think it was repetitive. That's again a matter of opinion, right? Although to be fair, if you're gonna say this was boring instead of saying I found it boring, that just kind of load the question there, Denims. But and then regardless of whether it was spite driven, it was a video about the general state of reaction content and what Jay thought was ethical or would adhere to the etiquette that they think would be worth setting out for reaction content in general, using Hassan as an example because that's the person who reacted to their content in a way that they thought was unethical originally. So I don't see why you think it's driven by spite when, you know, it was clear that that was the reason why it was framed in such a way, but I digress.
Of it is just Jay talking about how much he absolutely disliked Hassan using his content as filler content. Filler content in this context meaning content that's being used for when a streamer is eating or is going to be walking away from the stream and not going to be there. Jay talks about these frustrations
Just stealing the content
in the most deranged manner, in my humble opinion. Exhibit A.
I feel like it's got to be like I don't know, like someone who has a disability or something, right?
I'm not sure what part of this messy, weird house has made Hassan conclude, yes, only a disabled could have caused this. That's what he sounds like, shut up. Or what kind of disability he could possibly mean. Like, I'm not even sure if he means mental or physical. What the fuck are you talking about? What's the disability that makes you go, I need to install a toilet next to my fucking...
So the frustrating part for
fucking toilet is the end of that. I think you need to understand that it's incredibly weird to have two toilets next to each other, and I think cutting it off there is a little bit sussy as far as I'm concerned, but I don't see that as being pretty deranged. Just think it was a funny joke about how Hassan essentially had come to that, realised I'm not reacting hard enough, I've not said anything because I've been away for the whole time and I've just been stealing this person's content. Well, I've got to add something. I guess maybe the disabled person, which, to be fair, if you'd have actually watched enough of the video, you'd see all of the things that was being there sold for eBay purposes, which sounds not like something who was disabled would be able to have access to or be able to actually end up doing on a regular basis as some kind of source of income. So that just wasn't a comment that was kind of relevant. And then Jay was a little bit snarky, I guess, but that's just Britbonger humor, I guess.
For me here is that Jay doesn't even try to give an ounce of charitability. Apparently, Hassan had
no, because it's fucking Hassan. He should know better. He's a fucking massive content creator.
Come back to stream and seen chat making assumptions about the homeowner because the house was so messy, to which he proceeded to say, it's possible that the homeowner could be disabled. And I don't really think it's a controversial opinion at all to think that someone who's physically disabled wouldn't have the same abilities to keep their house clean. And I also don't think it's too controversial to say,
why would they need two toilets next to each other? Which is, again, was the critique that Jay literally made in the bit that you decided to incredibly neatly cut off before they mentioned the two toilets next to each other.
That someone with ADHD or depression wouldn't have the same motivations to clean their house as someone who would be neurotypical. But instead of extending the logic that even a shimbo like me could think of, Jay instead just assumes that Hassan is being ableist for saying that the homeowner might be disabled.
What? When did Jay say anything about Hassan being ableist? Just that the comment didn't make any sense because, again, as I'm probably pretty good in assuming, is just a comment that he just blurted out because he realised he needed to add literally anything, otherwise it was just playing the video in its entirety. Like, did Jay ever? Let me replay that bit again.
It's got to be like I don't know, like someone who has a disability or something, right?
I'm not sure what part of this messy, weird house has made Hassan conclude, yes, only a disabled could have caused this. That's what he sounds like, shut up. Or what kind of disability he could possibly mean. Like, I'm not even sure if he means mental or physical. What the fuck are you talking about? What's the disability that makes you go, I need to install a toilet next to my fucking...
So the frustrating part for me here is that Jay viewed here.
But yeah, like, none of that did Jay critique Hassan for being ableist. The word ableist didn't appear in any part of that. So I don't know why you think that it's a critique of the assumption that Hassan was being ableist in calling it a disabled person's house, rather than a critique of Hassan making literally any shit up to say so that he has an interjection at that point.
A few times in the videos. Jay apparently decided to do a stream sort of mocking or satirizing Hassan's reaction to his video. Previewed here, Exhibit B.
Similar to Jack's films, I went live to satirize him. Of 8,800 Blue Lake Road. If we start at the entrance, you're greeted by a Minions brand doormat that really no home is complete without.
This is good. This is if you were gonna, create some kind of pastiche of someone whose behaviour that they were exhibiting you thought wasn't particularly on point, I guess you should probably so you can see, just so everybody understands what's going on here.
Sure, but I think we might have found the
Jay
toilet
is-
soda culprit.
Jay is
now,
just-
if we go across the
just
hall from the
left
man cave,
there,
we'll find ourselves in the
and then
second
come
bathroom.
back. And then is now pretending to eat. So literally just doing what Hassan did, just walking away and then eating throughout the video that Hassan has uploaded, right? Whatever. I think that's amusing. Maybe it's a different sense of humour. Maybe I don't have a sense of humour. But I think that's funny.
Property. Now that you...
Now, because I've watched the entire video, I know that Jay actually has valid points and wants something that's actually actionable. However, the first time I watched this, all I could think was, holy fuck, this is so incredibly cringe. And although
Why? Why is it cringe? I honestly don't understand her perspective here. What's cringe about, you know, satirizing what someone else is doing by doing it back to them? Like, does she think that Jay is doing this out of some kind of anger, some kind of mad? Oh, if he's gonna steal my content, I'm gonna steal his content. Like, do you think that's what Jay is doing at this point, or is it just oblique satire about the process of uploading someone else's content without creating it transformative, right?
I don't watch that much Hassan stream content, I have been known to dabble in some Hassan YouTube content. And this fucker pauses so much. He will...
Not a response. It doesn't matter about the rest of Hassan's content. It does not matter in the slightest what Hassan does in the rest of his content regularly. When you and I both know, because you've admitted at the start of this video, there are at least a non-zero amount, and I think would argue plenty amount of times, where Hassan doesn't actually react because he's not in the chair, because he's eating, because he doesn't have anything to say, and he literally just freeboots somebody else's content without making it the reaction transformative in any way. So this is whether or not Paul's an Arby or whatever is doing something else any other time. That's not relevant to this particular discussion because again, it's not the central criticism of what Jay's saying.
Spend 2 hours on a 10-minute video. He does this to such an extreme extent that even his guests go crazy.
Some motherfucker in the chat's gonna be like, that's actually indigenous. You're making fun of a First Nation last name or something. So sorry if that's the case, but yeah, Dorkson. Exactly. What a fucking dork.
Can we just watch the video, dude?
No.
The point I'm trying to make is that it feels like Jay was just frustrated that they're...
Well, look, Jay even admitted, both in the debate and also in past streams afterwards, in that they had to watch a lot of Hassan content to make sure this wasn't just some kind of one-off. So Jay already knows that A, Hassan does plenty of pausing, but also that this happens to plenty of other people, and regardless of whether it's happening specifically to Hassan, from Hassan to Jay, or whether it's any other React streamer to any other content creator, because we all know that's a thing. We've all seen XQC, we've all seen, Critical or whatever doing similar things. Obviously, Critical's apologised and has stopped doing that now, but XQC obviously hasn't, because he's completely ignored it, right? We all know that happens regardless. So, again, this isn't a refutation of the actual original salient critique here.
video didn't elicit an excited and fun response out of Hassan, and that's why he made the video, even though Jay states that they made the video for entirely different reasons. The other big part of this video that feels incredible...
Yeah, because they literally did. Like, you're just kind of inferring from nothing just because you think it was specifically out of spite when that's not really been... You don't properly demonstrated that either.
Incredibly spite-driven, lacking charitability, and super low effort is what I would like to call the reading YouTube comments section.
Try more? What a baby. Literally wouldn't even know who you are if it wasn't for Hassan streaming your video.
And literally, and in Hassan's response, he was like, huh, well, instead of freebooting your content, what am I supposed to do? Die? Clearly, Hassan has not bothered thinking about it. He's not considered the position that he's in. And he's not considered the effect that it's going to have on his fan base moving forward. So this isn't a response to any of the critiques that Jay's made, and it doesn't fit in with the narrative that's been put forward, or nor within the law that you've demonstrated throughout this video, I guess, or that you've not demonstrated because you've not included the original critiques, right? Because you think that Hassan saying, sorry, we won't watch our videos, is an adequate response to the critiques being made, which it clearly is not.
So let's talk about that. First point, I truly do not understand why Jay has decided to take any YouTube commentators seriously. Listen, okay? My personal opinion. I literally do not care about YouTube hate comments. If you are someone who is spending more than 2 seconds writing a YouTube comment about why you dislike someone or something so much, I do not value or respect your opinion. Every single Sigma I know does not spend their time writing hate comments on YouTube videos. They simply move on with their life and do things that they...
We have to admit it's still, it's still going to be the inevitable, result of the kind of stuff that Hasan engaged in, or the kind of response that he made, etc. I mean, again, I do probably agree that what video comments do and don't say is never genuinely a proper understanding of what has or hasn't been said, or the actual points or critiques. Like, sure, I get that, but it's still, the comments that were made still echoed the sentiments that Hasan then made on stream. So much in the same way that the whole Jay Exci is a Nazi thing also kind of filtered out into even filtered into my YouTube comments, if you could believe that. So clearly these Hasan's legion of goons just parrot what he says verbatim without any kind of critical understanding of what he has or hasn't said.
They enjoy. And if I may add one more quick point of contention, this is unironically what most people dislike so much about Hasan. He will get stun-locked on shitters in chat for absolutely no reason. And it is so agonizing. Do you want to know why it's agonizing? Because those people aren't worth the time. They are never worth it. Now, to my next point, steelmanning. It absolutely boggles my mind that Jay decided to react to YouTube comments and not even attempt to try and steelman any of them. Exhibit A.
I'm not the biggest Hasan fan, but I feel a lot of streamers just watch random videos to react to while they eat, so I don't feel like it's that bad that he does this.
Everyone's doing it, so it's okay. I think it's bad that everyone's doing this, but also this is literally just an appeal to popularity fallacy. Next.
Instead of making an actual attempt to try and engage with this comment, they instead just make fun of it in the worst way possible.
How is it making? It's literally argumentum ad populum. That's what that comment is doing. It literally says, oh, well, there's a bunch of other streamers, so, you can't critique Hasan for it. And I'm like, well, first of all, the critique of Hasan was specifically about the fact that it was their video, so that made it, a good point with which to create some kind of narrative and story with the video was being made. And second of all, the fact that Hasan should know better is true, because he's a massive streamer. He's the 6th biggest earner on Twitch. He should know better than to just freeboot people's content. There's no charitable way of being able to read this comment at all. It's literally just an argumentum ad populum fallacy. I don't know why you're trying to defend this shitter's comment here, Denims. Doesn't make any sense.
Any person who attempted for even a moment would realize that this person is probably saying, a lot of streamers have downtime where they need to eat or use the restroom to play videos to retain viewers. I think calling out Hasan specifically, instead of going after all React content on some level, seems to come off as spite-driven. Instead...
But there wasn't... The video was called Jinx and Hasan Piker. It wasn't specifically aimed at Hasan, even in the fucking title. And over the course of the video, Jay was using it as a point with which to then, elucidate on the point that they were going to make about reaction content. Come on, Denims, you're smarter than this.
Jay takes this straw man for no reason. And so, to circle back to point A, why are you...
And again, they're not strawmanning the comment. That's literally the comment is saying that, well, you shouldn't pick on Hasan specifically because everybody does it. And it's like, well, the response that then Jay made was like, I think it's bad that everybody does this. And there you go. That's a response, and also it's arguments about populum. There's just no response to the comment, Denims. You're just trying, again, it's super clear that this is just 100% copium, that she's really clutching at straws to try and defame Jay Exci's character, to try and appeal to the people watching, not to, try and impugn her for engaging in the same kind of low-effort reaction content or low-effort freebooting that Jay was critiquing over the course of the video.
Spending any time at all on YouTube comments if you're not even going to try and glean something of value from them. And finally, for this section, I would like to show you guys Jay's alternatives to using filler content that somebody else made.
There are plenty of other ways to take downtime, which isn't something I should have to explain to anyone. If you're a streamer and you reach a point in your stream where you feel that for whatever reason you're unable to fully entertain your audience by yourself, here are a few things you can try. Bring on a guest who can do most of the talking while you're away.
This highway code applies to England, Scotland and Wales. The highway code is essential reading for everyone.
Play something made by a creator who you know is happy for their content to be used in this way. Play your own streams or content. Just fucking end the stream, holy shit.
Now listen, I actually respect the first two statements. if you know you're going to be away from the stream for more than a few minutes, you
only the first two.
Probably could bring on a guest, or you could get pre-planned, pre-approved filler content. However, I don't know why Jay tacks on the point about ending stream, as if any streamer would ever do that.
No comment on the play your own content? I mean, that's what Chad Logic does. What a bunch of other streamers do if they've got downtime, just you play other people's content. Or Vosh just doesn't play anything, just walks away from the chair and just goes, kind of, people will come back eventually. And also, yeah, if you can't think of anything to do or whatever, just end stream. Again, if that was one of 4, I don't know why you're specifically focusing on it either.
And this is what I mean when I say it's completely reasonable that people who watch this viewed it as a clout-sharking, bitter, spiteful video. Telling streamers to end their stream when they need downtime and then saying, take some pride in your work, holy shit, is not the most conducive method in convincing streamers, or anyone for that matter, that using filler content without prior permission.
I mean, that's pretty abstracted from what they've actually said. Saying that, take pride in your work, is that, no, it's just like, if you can't think of anything to say, you can just stop streaming. You don't have to stream forever. If you can't think of entertaining content and have to steal somebody else's, then how about you just don't stream anymore, finish the stream. Like, reasonable comment.
Is wrong. Now, what I would like to call Section B. Me reacting to Jay, reacting to Hassan, reacting to Jay, reacting to this weird house. So, for some reason, Jay decides to include a 10-minute section where he just watches Hassan's reaction to his video and critiques how he didn't like it. And I don't know why he does this, besides the fact that he wanted to do it. I think very easily if he was trying to prove a point that Hassan didn't react hard enough, or that he was using it as filler content, all he had to do was show a clip of Hassan walking off the stream for 4 minutes, and then coming back and saying very little. Instead, he does this.
And now, because Hassan is our primary example, let's take a look at the reaction he served up to some of my content.
Note that Jay has said here, because Hassan is my primary example, not I hate Hassan, here is my epic takedown. Clearly, it has been shown, even in the clips that you're using here, Denims, that what Jay is saying is, here's Hassan as an example, not here is my scathing 50-minute screed against how much I hate Hassan Piker. Like, you saw your comments earlier about this is somehow spiteful, just don't really hold any water even with the clips that you're using.
And while we're doing it, let's see how he compares to Jinx. 8,800 Blue Lick Road is a 3-bedroom house that you can go on a 3D virtual tour of right now if you're interested in purchasing it.
And I think that there's 2 main problems with this. A, it detracts from the video a lot. It makes the video about his personal grievances with Hassan instead of a video about the general state of React content on Twitch. And the second problem is just, I think it's unnecessary. It adds absolutely nothing to the video. It's very boring. I didn't want to watch it and I was forced to watch it, and it just ends up coming off.
You weren't forced to watch it, you could have just not. But also, if it's necessary, I probably think it is necessary, if you're going to make the critique of don't walk away at all, then you can include that clip. But this section that you're commenting on here, Denims, was actually a section about the way in which what Hassan has done hasn't been transformative. These are 2 separate points which need to be elucidated on in separate sections and with different clips that are being used to say, look, here is the bit where he's walked away and not even added anything or even been there with which to react to the content. And here's the second part which shows you that his comments over the course of the video were X, Y, and Z, and in their totality do not, in my opinion, constitute a transformative piece of content, which is actually, one is the react at all argument and one is the react harder argument, which I think both have merit, but both need different things with which to be able to demonstrate the point through what parts of the video you use in your critique. So I don't think it was unnecessary. Maybe boring to you, but as far as I'm concerned, it made sense within the context of the video.
As unintentionally petty. Again, he just needed to show how Hassan used his content as filler content for like a minute and then moved on. Again,
as I said before, this is nothing about this. This has now moved on from the filler content argument, as now moving forward to the react harder argument, right?
Which brings us to part 3. Why I made this video in the first place and the things that I liked and the problem.
Because you're coping? Is it just 100% pure huffing copium?
With those things. Now, there is some genuinely good stuff in this video, like really good stuff in this video, but you have to get to the very end of it, which I did for you guys. So I want to break up the good stuff into 2 main categories. One of which I think is very actionable and non-controversial, and the other maybe a little bit less actionable. Category 1, giving credit. I think out of everything in this video, this is probably the most actionable and the least controversial opinion. Like the bare minimum that a streamer could do is to show the content creator and the video title on screen and post the link in chat after watching it. It really just isn't that much of a hassle to give credit where credit is due.
And that's good. I mean, like Demon Mama, I watched her coverage of this and she went, go and find Jay Exci's video. Go like it, go comment. There's a big stream of comments. I even checked. People saying imp raiding from Demon Mama's community for watching your video, which is really, really good. And I want to touch on what I said in the previous video I did on this, which was reacting to Hassan, where I said that when Ludwig was covering GeoWizard, Ludwig said to his chat, well, if we're going to be reacting and watching, open the video in another tab. We'll all watch it at the same time, so it gives the same algorithmic boost to the other piece of content there.
Especially when you're using it as entertainment for your stream. All right, cool. Yay! That was a really nice short little section. Great. Now, moving on to the depressing category. Category 2, filler content. Okay, so one of the more interesting distinctions made in this video is about the difference between traditional React content and filler content. Traditional React content, aka content that's transformative or adds something to the video because of the reactions, versus filler content, aka content that streamers use when they need to take a break to use the bathroom or get food. Now, why do I think that this is a worthwhile distinction? Because the complaint of this video is not simply react harder, as so many people have made it out to be. The complaint is more so...
But part of it was, there was, again, 3 major points, which was credit, don't use it as filler, and also react harder. React harder was one of the contentions that Jay had about both Jinx and Hassan, in that Jinx only added like 15 seconds worth of extra commentary, and Hassan only added extra 2 minutes, of which neither of them added anything actually transformative, and that was Jay's argument, right? And again, I think by saying that, you know, this wasn't about react, by saying you don't think this is about react harder, I don't think you watched the video, or, you know, at least imbibed the content of the video enough, which maybe that's the fault of the video for not bringing that point across. But I was very clear in that I knew that was the actual content of the video that's being put forward in with what Jay produced as those major critiques, because it is both about filler content and react harder, and as far as I'm concerned, within equal measure as well.
React at all. And I think it's incredibly fair for a content creator to not want their content to be used as filler content. And I think it gets to the heart of the problem. This is something that all streamers, or at least all big streamers, do. Eventually, if you're going to be streaming for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, you're going to need downtime. For most React streamers, that downtime means a drop in viewership. Streamers are disincentivized from leaving the stream for more than a few seconds without putting something on to entertain chat. Does that mean it's okay to use filler content without people's permission? No, that's not what I'm saying. No. What I am saying is, I think it's fucked up that streamers essentially steal content and use it as background noise when they either can't or don't want to entertain chat. However,
okay, that's a good admission. I'll see what the however is moving forward, but that does seem like an admission that it is not okay, which is fine. I do agree, and the fact that she's talking about it as an incentive structure, right? It's like, well, we wouldn't have done it, the community wouldn't have done it as much as we do, were it not for the fact that so much of our time, so much of our revenue is predicated on keeping viewers interested and never letting them ever go ever. Because once they leave, it's very difficult to then get them back again, which I understand. I get that. I 100% admit that. And again, that's a fault of the incentive structure of the platform itself. But that doesn't negate Jay's critiques. Then again, Denims is not using it as such at this point in time. So again, I'll see what she says moving forward.
I also recognize it's probably never going to stop happening until Twitch cracks down on it. I mean, literally a month ago.
Well, no, it doesn't have to. Again, if Twitch streamers are going to continue this particular line of questioning and this understanding, then you can at least, even if it's not going to take hold of everybody, I'm sure Miskiff and XQC will still be doing fuck all to actually transform the content they're reacting to and just going to steal it, whatever. I mean, that's 2 out of many streamers, whereas there are plenty of people who have seen this video and have changed the way in which they engage with content, myself included.
Ago, streamers were playing anime in their entirety until someone got banned. So I guess my final point on this section is, I just think that if Jay's video was structured a bit better and maybe some of these positives were put in the front of the video, people might have been more convinced that there is a real problem and that the video isn't just a complaint about react harder. But
Yep, loads of people saw the video and realised. You just look at the comments where people saying, "Oh, this was really good. I agree," including myself. Critical even said, "Having seen the video, I'm now going to change the way in which I do things moving forward." Both Critical and also Kavanackle agree. There's so many people who saw this video and came away with the point without going, "Oh, this is boring. I've switched off." Right? Loads of people. I don't know where this. I mean, maybe it's just your particular attention span here, Denims, but I don't think that this particular critique you're giving is a universal critique, and I would say vastly in the minority here. Maybe it could have been short. Maybe it could have been shorter. They even said that they had loads of content to be able to put even more. So, which again probably would have included commentaries on more people who were engaging in this, but it was cut down to be able to have the length available. But then again, I don't think it was as verbose as Denims is claiming it is. So I guess it's just a difference of opinion.
Instead, because of the way that it is structured, that's exactly what happened. Which sort of brings me to my final section. Part 5, React streamers versus React YouTubers. So besides the major structuring problems, I think Jay makes this crucial mistake of trying to compare Jinx, a React YouTuber, to Hassan, a React streamer. For those who haven't watched Jay's video, there's like...
I guess that's true. And Jay did try and make the comparison. And even in the clip that we just saw that Denims posted, say, shall we watch Hassan and let's critique him, but also compare him to Jinx as well. But then again, to be fair, in Jay's video, Jay said, Hassan added more commentary than Jinx did, but it wasn't a great deal more. And I think that's, that's a reasonable comparison to make. I don't think the difference between those platforms is going to make that particular comparison that Jay's done there any less salient.
10 minutes dedicated to explaining the React meta on YouTube many years ago, and he uses the example of Jinx and compares it to the modern Twitch streamers that react to content today, like Hassan. And I think it's a fundamentally flawed analogy. I would like to try to argue that people who watch React content on Twitch are separate from the group of people that watch React content on YouTube. I'm arguing this based on two very...
Just because the people who are watching are different doesn't mean that the way in which people just freeboot content in both of those regards, it doesn't make the actions that they're engaging in any less egregious. That doesn't make it any better to take someone's content and not make it transformative regardless of the platform because they have different viewerships. I don't think that doesn't make any difference.
Very important factors. Factor number 1, Twitch chat versus YouTube comments. So the first point, I know for a fact that my viewing pleasure of a stream is greatly increased by the quality and humor of a live chat that I can read and participate in. And while yes, there are some really funny streamers on Twitch, I'd argue some of these chats might be equally as funny, if not funnier than the streamer most of the time. And I think other viewers would agree that having a live chat completely changes the viewing experience, usually for the better. There just simply isn't anything like this in a YouTube React video.
There's the premiere. You can view the premiere of the video, and you can also, if it's been premiered, you can go back and watch the live chat from the premiere on YouTube. Again, I understand that's not saying you can't interact with it if you're watching it, posthumously, I guess, right? You can't go back and then be in the chat for the premiere in the same way that if you're all in this Twitch streamers community, you're all commenting on the video at the same time. Like, I get that, but there is still that particular part of it. And again, regardless of how much Twitch chat are interacting, regardless of how much fun you're having talking about the video with Twitch chat, that does not change the fact that if someone is freebooting content or not being transformative, that it's unethical on the streamer's part. Like, just because there is, some kind of utility in watching in a different setting doesn't make the way in which someone is taking that content in particular and then rebroadcasting it any more ethical.
I guess you kind of have the comment sections, but to be honest, I've only ever checked the comment sections if I really disliked a video. And a live chat, on the other hand, actually adds some real value to a React stream. Whereas I'd argue that a YouTube comment section 99.99% of the time adds absolutely nothing to the original YouTube.
But again, it adds it for the viewer. It adds it for the viewer who's engaging in it. The viewer gets more because there's a Twitch chat. The original content creator, as far as they're concerned, doesn't get anything. And again, that doesn't change what's going to happen if someone clips that particular part of Twitch out of Hassan's stream and then uploads it to, Hassan Reacts or Hassanabi React Lord or Daily Dose of Hassanabi or Hassanabi VODs or yet another Hassanabi Clip Chimp channel, all of those other channels that re-upload Hassan's content that may include this video, which has definitely happened because I've seen at least 5 or 6 different Hassan Reacts to Dubai as a parody of the 21st century, which is Adam Something's video with Hassan actually reacting to it, in all fairness, and he actually does react to that, uploaded 5 or 6 times on a bunch of different clip chip channels, and that's Adam Something's content, that's Adam's video. Imagine if Hassan, for example, hadn't engaged in an actual piece of transformative content there, and it was just Adam Something's video with a little bit of extra commentary that doesn't really make it transformative. That's the damage is done, regardless of what Twitch chat is, and then it's back there on YouTube in its original form with no semblance of something transformative, and you can't interact with Twitch chat again. So that kind of negates the utility as far as I'm concerned. And I think that even if you are reacting, I think the fact that there is some level of audience interaction, stream curation, which I know she's going to get to in a bit because she mentioned that at the start of the video, that kind of creation or whatever, I think that's the kind of price that you have to pay to be able to make something different enough so that you're not just stealing it. That piece of curation, that piece of interaction, that what you gain there, I think that, as far as I'm concerned, makes up for the fact that you're using someone else's content to make something incredibly low effort on your end. To be fair, because as someone who does a lot of reaction content, as you can see right now, I am reacting to a video. I understand that this content is really easy to make, especially if you're streaming, 5, 6, 7 hours a day or whatever. I understand the minimum effort that goes into creating the content that we're engaging in right now, and I think that it is at the very least, the fact that I am then showing this video to you in the chat, whilst also giving you a way to watch it with a chat, is probably like the bare minimum that can be used to be able to justify using somebody else's content in this way. Obviously, in this particular stream, I'm responding to something I disagree with, which I think is the best way of doing it, rather than just me sitting here watching a video go with you, ooh, isn't that interesting? Yes, I agree, interesting content, which would be different, right?
React video. And again, I want to be clear. I am in no way saying that chat alone can make the content transformative. I am only saying that chat can help push people to choosing to watch content on Twitch rather than watching the content by themselves on YouTube. So moving on to point number 2, React streamers acting as curators.
And again, somebody watching your content elsewhere does literally nothing. Even showed in Jay's video that Hassan watching that, curating the content in such a way as to have Jay Exci's content on screen for his viewer base, add an extra 200 views and a negligible amount of subscribers onto Jay's account. So you're not benefiting the original content creator, and something transformative isn't being made here. Like, nothing's being gained from the person who originally put in the effort in the first place, whose labor you're essentially expropriating here. So this point that you're making about Twitch chat doesn't actually make any difference as far as I'm concerned.
Sort of. Essentially, I want to argue that viewers are actively choosing to watch content on Twitch instead of YouTube for a variety of reasons. I, for one, know that the YouTube algorithm has a terrible habit of not showing you stuff outside of your usual viewing habits. I can't count the number of times that content creators I found through Twitch I would have never found through YouTube, because it's so drastically different from the content that I habitually consume on YouTube. Or how about when you're scrolling through your YouTube?
But again, that's just your anecdotal experience, and it doesn't map onto the way in which, even someone like Hassan, who had tens of thousands of viewers, didn't actually translate into any actual algorithmic boost or viewer boost or subscriber boost for Jay in this particular instance, which again, to be fair, is anecdotal, and there are definitely other instances in which there are other creators who have boosted somebody high enough with which to be able to put their content out to the world for everybody and created a career out of them. I can understand that there are these differing experiences, but at the end of the day, unless you can demonstrate to me that in 99% of cases a streamer reacting to a piece of media on stream is giving that original creator some kind of boost in popularity, as long as if you're not doing something transformative, it's just bad. It's just not ethical. I'm sorry, it just isn't.
Homepage and literally nothing looks interesting. Or you're feeling too lazy to keep looking for something that does look interesting. Or when you just want like a 10-minute video so you can have something while you're eating, but instead YouTube is literally only recommending you 3-hour videos about why Rebecca Sugar is a fascist. Do you know what solves all of those problems for viewers? A good Twitch stream. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that this adds value to the content at all. I am only arguing that these are reasons why people actively choose to go to Twitch over YouTube. And I want to illustrate that by pointing out something very important. Viewers are...
And again, if you don't think that adds anything to the video, then that's not a response to anything in Jay's actual video that they made. You're not responding to any of the critiques by making this point here, Denims. Why is this even in here? Jay probably even admits that that's something that they can even do, because they did when we had the debate on Chad Logic's channel. That's not a response to any of the comments they made in their original discussion around the ethical nature, the ethical platform with which we can engage in React content on Twitch. right? There's not a response to anything there. And they said, well, that's fine, you know. And as long as you're, you know, actually reacting and actually creating something transformative, that's great. That's beneficial for everybody. And the viewers get what they want. The original content creators get what they want. And the streamers get what they want at the end of it. Brilliant, fantastic, wonderful. Let's go. But that doesn't negate the idea that, you know, filler content isn't okay, and, you know, non-transformative quote-unquote reactions aren't okay. That's not a response. That doesn't address any of the points that's been made.
Incredibly lazy. And yes, that means you, whichever stream has a chat that is currently watching this, yes, you. No one is free from sin. Companies will literally dump thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to make their platforms as user-friendly as possible. For example, if someone needs to be redirected 3 different times just to subscribe to a streamer, the chance of them subscribing drops drastically. If you want someone to do something, unfortunately, the reality is the more steps you force them to take, the less likely they are to do it. So, what the fuck does this have to do with Twitch versus the YouTube argument that I'm trying to make? If someone primarily watches content on YouTube, there are less steps for them to take to watch your specific content on YouTube. They've already overcome the first hurdle, which is making their way to youtube.com. Whereas someone who watches content primarily on Twitch is way less likely to have gone to YouTube and looked for your content to watch. Let's say in a hypothetical where a streamer uploads their reaction to, let's say, a prank video, and their reaction adds a total of 30 seconds to the runtime. Now, a random YouTube user looks up epic prank video, and what do they see? They see 2 videos. The first is XQC reacts to epic prank. And the second is the original video, epic prank. The unfortunate reality is that if the viewer likes XQC even a little bit, they're always going to click on the reaction video and probably rarely going to click on the original video. And that to me feels like really true stolen viewership. In the example I'm highlighting, this user has already overcome 2 major hurdles in finding your content. They're already on the website.
They've gained nothing, and XQC has added nothing. He's still stealing the content. It doesn't matter. You're not demonstrating here that there's some kind of benefit for the original creator of the content. All you're arguing is that, well, you know, it's been watched a non-zero amount of times that they wouldn't have been watched. Just the views have all gone to XQC and his new lack of commentary. You've not demonstrated why this is good for the streamers, or why that absolves XQC in this particular instance.
Create content, YouTube, and they're already looking up content that you make. Whereas I'd argue that the people watching React content on Twitch might not actually be your target audience, and we're probably unlikely to be looking for your content on YouTube. I would try and lightly compare it to hot tub streamers and the rage against them. There is a misconception that hot tub streamers are stealing viewership from other streamers, when the reality is those are probably 2 separate market segments altogether. The people watching React content on Twitch are probably not the same category of people who are going to actively look for your specific content on YouTube. And in case I didn't...
I mean, that is true in that, you know, the hot tub streamers aren't stealing your views. If someone wasn't going to watch you originally but watches your content through someone's Twitch stream, there's a necessary amount of non-overlap there, which wouldn't have interacted with your content in the first place. But if they're someone who's on Twitch and never on YouTube, they were never going to be they're not going to subscribe even after seeing your thing on Twitch and adding it to their YouTube viewership, because they're not a YouTube viewer, they're a Twitch viewer, or a specific to the Twitch platform, which is the argument that you're making here. And even then, that doesn't absolve the original creator of content theft, of not putting in their own work to create their own content in the fucking first place. Which is the real issue here, which is the fact that people are getting paid, making, in Hassan's case, millions of dollars a year off of content that isn't even theirs in the first place.
Say it enough. That doesn't mean streamers doing this is okay, or ethical, or legal at all. I am simply stating what I believe to be the truth about people who go to watch Twitch streams react. And finally...
But if you don't believe it's a response to the ethical nature of React content, why is it in this fucking video? Why have you included it at all, Denims? Why? Why is it here? Because the whole video was trying to create an ethical basis for doing reaction content. So you're not responding to Jay's video. You're just, again, it's just copium. It's just hyper-copium of you trying to absolve yourself of guilt because you genuinely feel guilty for the fact that you've engaged in low-effort reaction content theft. Simple. It's a simple. It must. I can. That's the only possible explanation. Is just Denims is just hyper-coping here and can't think of any other reason to defend the actions that she's engaged in by stealing other people's content. I'm sorry, I can't think of any other reason. Like, again, as I was saying before, like, for example, you know, if you're getting through a piece of content that you're reacting to live on Twitch, right? And you don't think that, you know, this is something that you can add something transformative to. So, for example, say, I was watching Vorsh debate President Sunday on stream a few days ago, and I got to about, you know, half an hour into this 2-hour 40 minutes into this kind of 2-hour stream, like, I can't add anything to this. I'm not smart enough. Both President Sunday and Vaush far intellectually outpace me. And I was just my only pausings was just saying, oh, this is an interesting discussion, because I actually couldn't add anything substantive to the points that were being made. So you know what I did? I turned off the video. It's not transformative. I just stopped, right? There's loads of things that you can do to make this ethical, which was the basis of Jay's video, and you've literally addressed none of them. You've addressed nothing. There was no points you made. This is a waste of your time, Denims, to make this video, because all you've done is make yourself look worse.
Conclusion. I guess my final notes, I wish the video was just structured a little bit better, because the good points of the video are completely overshadowed by the bad points of the video and make the video seem way more spite driven than it actually is, in my humble opinion. Not to mention that the
your wrong opinion, more like. Ayo!
Lack of separation between personal grievances about Hassan and general comments about React streamers on Twitch as a whole makes the video really hard to watch. I am the least biased person because I am both a React streamer on Twitch and someone who makes pre-prepared content on YouTube. Thank you for your time. I hope you had a great day watching this, and I hope I made some points some people agreed with.
No, you made literally 0 points I agree with. That was a garbage fire, and you should be ashamed of... No, not really. But I just don't think that was a rebuttal of the content. And to me, it just seemed like cope. I mean, you know, maybe I'm looking too far into this, but it did just seem to me like just you coping about the fact that you realise, you understand, because, you know, and I understand, because this is something I had to deal with when I originally watched the video about some of the content that I've created, or in essence not really created, because it was just other people's content that I've just said things about at the same time, right? Whereas there was clear a premise of Jay's video. The premise was there was an issue with the way in which reactive content is used. There are examples given as to why a lot of the reaction content that's engaged in both on YouTube and Twitch, neither of which can be considered ethical because of the nature of fact it's filler content, because they're not transformative enough, because they're not reacting hard enough, or because they've given proper credit, which, you know, again, at least Jinx did that, right? Plenty of React content have always left the original video down in the description. Not that you ever want to watch it, but these are all things that were very clearly laid out, and you've addressed none of them. Like, it doesn't matter if most of the time you are transformative enough and you don't use filler content. That is like, as Jay pointed out on Twitter, that's like saying, well, I know I missed that red light, but most of the time I usually stop for red lights. Well, no, like, that's doesn't make the time that you've missed the red light okay. I'm sorry, but you know, on Chud Logic's videos now, that he uploads to YouTube, he literally has a disclaimer at the start saying, "This is a reaction. I may try to make it sufficiently transformative. You link to original video is going to be down below if you want to watch it beforehand, or go and watch the original video, interact with it for that sake." Again, very, very simple things that could have been done here, and again, you've just addressed none of them. So yeah, that was Denims with a bad video.